Okay, so now that you finished the first part, you're on to the second part. So we have our French toast here. The second one's over here. And we're not going to keep it too close, but you want to keep it nice and close. So this, you're going to keep your handle out the side. Simple cooking. If you want it to be nice and flat, that's going to be the one that we use. The next part's pretty loud, so I'm not going to be talking over it. You'll hear commentary instead, or music. I did forget to mention something. You need that. You need that. Is that dirty? Anyways, the point of these are to transfer your cooked to your not cooked, probably should be cooked by now. Good job. Okay, so the first thing you're going to need is a spatula, and you're going to move those plates out of the way. I didn't want to melt them. I know I wouldn't. You set the temperature to medium, especially on this pan. It can't take anything over it because it's non-stick. You need butter, and you're just going to take a slice, and you want to completely spread it over the full area. And then, as you see, it got stuck on the bottom, so you're going to have to make sure to get anything that does get stuck on the bottom. You just want it to be really nicely coated. Yeah, so as you see, I just kind of put it on the hot pan, which melted it. It's just all about how even it is. That really helps it. So you see, I take my first one, I put it down. You're usually going to do either 3 or 4 at a time, depending on how big your pan is. You don't want them to be touching each other, because then they can stick together. I mean, you'll just have to pull them off of each other after. But as you can see, now that they'd been cooking for a while, the first set always takes quite a while, so that's why it takes a while. As you can see, when I lifted it, it kind of like flopped over. It didn't lift up the whole thing. That's how you can tell if it's cooked. So I'm going to do it a second time, and you can see it was a lot better. You can pretty much play on your phone during this time, because it takes quite a while. It's all about patience. Cooking is a waiting game, as you can see. So I looked at some other ones to see if it was just that one that wasn't cooking, and the other one needed a little bit more of it, and then you'll see what it looks like when I flip it over. You can tell how it's cooked. I personally don't like mushy parts in the middle. Yeah, so see how it's nice and brown? And everybody's different. As long as you cook them for a little bit, as in enough for the raw egg to be gone, you should be fine. But I just tried to get what you want to do is you want to move them around. That way they pick up all the butter that you put on the pan. That really helps the taste. So, sorry if it seems a little bit slow. I did speed it up to like 300% to make it a little bit faster. But, yeah, this is kind of just checking. I decided to do a little bit more on one side. A lot of times the end pieces will be really weird. Sorry about that. I thought that one was pretty much done, so I put it in. Same with that one. You really want to make sure to check on each side. I did almost put that on, and then I realized I needed to butter it. So I ended up putting on a couple pieces. A little bit too much, but you can't have too much butter. So as you can see, spread it down. It should look like brown. That's usually how it looks after the first time that you do it. So this one I realized that there was enough space, but I wanted to make sure that the egg wouldn't stick to the pan if you put it on and then try and move it over immediately. Then a lot of times it'll smear on the bottom, and you really don't want that. It can be kind of really annoying. So these cook a lot faster after the second time. So you might have to dial down your heat, or you just need to be more aware. So stop playing on your phone. But as you can see, they definitely cooked a lot faster. I believe the one on the bottom-ish kind of needs, I think I did a little bit more on that area, just because I like to make sure that it's all pretty cooked. So I check again, and it was still pretty uncooked. So you'll see I do put a little bit more time into it. Sorry this part's taking so long. Oh well. But now I check, and you can see that that's pretty good. They're all cooked pretty well. Like, honestly, I think that's ready on each side. That one was definitely ready. I did some more time on that side. And you'll see there's another buttering. There's starting to be a little bit of goop starting to acquire or get all together in the pan. But I did switch out my cooked plate, because you usually want to switch between the two, just so that you're not filling up one too high and then one's just like a couple of slices tall. So now they do start cooking quite a bit faster. I mean, you can still play on your phone in between, but yeah. Definitely what I'd like to notice is if you look at the top left and the top right, you can see that butter that's there. That's why you want to rotate them, so that you can get that butter, because it really helps the flavor of the French toast. Like, a lot more than it should be. Okay, so this one I believe I left for just perfect amount of time. You can see the spatula kind of in the corner getting ready to flip. Yeah, so pretty good cook time. That's about what you want. Only you don't want to do it for too long, because then the entire thing will taste like the outside of it, which you don't want the entire thing to be charred. You kind of want the inside to be like a little bit softer. So you'll see that if you make it like I did, and then when you cut it open, it'll kind of just be like a little bit softer on the inside. And you can see I did move it around to get that butter. You don't really see it anymore in here. I would like to say something really quick about the microwavability of these. So they taste really good at first, of course, but you're probably wondering if it's okay to microwave it and if it will still taste okay. And yes, it does. It does shrink a little bit, so they're a little bit smaller after you put them in the fridge. But it is worth it, because you just can make it and then microwave it at the beginning of the day. I said that like... So the ones at the bottom of the pan are really hard to get off. As you can see, especially on this one, it just kind of takes a while to slide off. You have to be really careful with those, because a lot of times they will come apart unless you are really careful. So those are kind of a challenge. As you can see, I kind of just put that to the side, because I didn't really need it anymore. And also, if you didn't notice already, I'm doing 4 now. So there are 4 pieces of French toast being cooked at a time, which it's kind of a hard fit, and all of them are touching, so you have to sometimes you might have to separate them a little bit. But as you can see, there's still quite a pile left to do, so that's why this is sped up 300%. You're welcome. You might actually want to go into the YouTube settings and speed up my voice, or speed up the actual video, because this is kind of long. I've hit like 33 minutes now or something. I don't know, but at this point I kind of realized my temperature was too low. I think somewhere around here I realized it, because it was taking a really long time to cook them. But at the same time, I did have to reheat the pan, because it took me a while to take all the footage of the camera off. So do yourself a favor and do it in one trip. Don't be like me and split it up. Unless you're making like a cooking video like me. In that case, you're copying me. No, I'm just kidding. But as you can see, that's like I did turn up the heat there, because I realized that it really needed it. Sorry for this boring commentary. So at this point, I like that. You can see I had to separate that one. They're kind of not exactly fully cooked, but they've been on there long enough for me to move them around, and you can see I rotated them to get the butter. So, yeah, I was gonna say something. Yes, 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 yes. A tip you might have to do like the edges, like on the corner edge pieces, you might have to flip it up on its side and just kind of hold it there so that it cooks the entire thing. Because if you get like really thick ones, it won't go all the way through, and then the sides will be all raw and mushy. And unless you like it that way, then I guess that's fine. But as you can see here, I did another little bit on that side to see if I could get any more of that brownish color. But then I just kind of gave up on it. Not gave up, but realized that it was good enough because it'd been on for a while. So as you see here, another butter. You want to use enough to give you like a stroke, probably. Maybe a little bit more. So also near the end is when you start having to be careful as well, not just the ones at the bottom of the pan. As you can see, it's really a struggle to get them off near the end. So you just have to be really careful that you don't rip them. And I think I've ripped them like 15 times, so yeah. So these cooked a lot quicker because I did put in a lot of butter and it was at a high temperature. And you don't exactly want them to cook really fast. I mean, a lot of times if you cook them too fast, then the inside will be raw and mushy, as I said already. But that's why I did spend a little bit longer on that side, even though they were ready to flip. Also on the bottom one, yeah, the bottom one right now, if you look on the right side, there was a little bit of egg. That's what happens if you have a bunch of buildup of egg, for example, the white stuff, as opposed to the yellow. That stuff tends to get more clumped together, and if it gets stuck to one of the pieces, then it just ends up being like scrambled eggs on top of your French toast. So it's pretty awesome. Also, I would like to point out that you can see here that my piles are getting pretty high, so that does happen. I only had 2 plates. You probably would want more, and so you don't end up with like a leaning tower of French toast. But you can really see the struggle. Make sure not to fling any raw egg anywhere, because that can really, really not be good, you know. I kind of did tear the one in the bottom left, but oh well, that's a sacrifice. Um, they're cooking pretty fast, but the thing is, I was okay with it because I was pretty much close enough to the end, and it wasn't too fast, but at the same time, it was too fast. So these definitely did take a little bit too much longer because I turned down the heat too much. But I think they did end up turning out okay. You can definitely see on that side, there's a lot less of that butter cook. I don't know, I'm making up terms here, so sorry about that. Don't worry, my friends, we're almost at the end. But, so I lift up that. Just if you didn't already, you should seriously, like, put the video on 2 times speed. Because even this is, like, not fast enough. But these are the last ones. See that you have to, like, they're so soggy. And that one I did end up ripping earlier, though. So, and I think I did forget to put butter on that. Oh well. But as you can see, I was done with all the French toast, so I took that dish away, and I think I cleaned it while I was waiting for. No, I didn't clean it. I poured it into my extra, because if you have extra of the egg, then I'll show you what to do with that in a second. Essentially, you make an egg pancake, but it's more like a crepe. I'll show you. Especially if you have a lot of it. And then what becomes cool is if you want to later create like egg crepes, you just use French toast mixture to make that. It's really cool. Yeah, you can see I made the egg pancake here. So you just kind of want to pour it on, and it takes like no time at all to cook. It cooks super duper fast. And you don't usually overcook it as well. So apparently my audio got pretty messed up somewhere in here. But um, after, you're gonna want to put those two onto your leaning tower of French toast. As you can see, that was really sketchy. You kind of want to fold that over because it's too wimpy, not wimpy, but it won't survive if you try and put it on a plate. You just kind of want to smush it, and I believe I tried to flip it. I don't know if I successfully did, but you don't even have to have like the full. You don't have to have like a full heat on. I've turned off the pan, realized that I still had extra egg, and then still been able to cook it because it just takes so little time and so little effort. I did have to use my fingers. It wasn't too hot, but
So this is what the final result looks like. You can see it's pretty, it's like brown, nice, like you want to eat that, don't you? It looks so good. It's good. It's really good. Make this at home. Link pictures in the comments. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you liked the video. Thanks.